streaming error. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 2025. This is the NewOaks AI Podcast. I'm your host, Leland Best from Best Studios LLC, with my guest, Ray Luan, CEO of NewOaks AI. Welcome to the broadcast, Ray. How you doing today?
Hey, Leland, how are you?
I'm
It's good to
good.
see you in the new year, for another year.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I'm so excited. And can I do this? Can I do this? 2024,
Wow.
2025. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Mega, right? Yeah. It's time to make America great again.
It's time to
Awesome.
change. It's time to make a change.
Yeah.
We really need it around here in America, and we're hoping for the best. We're really just going to move ahead with what we know to be the best. So, and I hope that's what we all intend to do here at New Oaks and with our own businesses when it comes to AI, because things are moving fast, Ray. You want to talk about what's
Yep.
going on? There's so much happening in AI for 2025. Let's get rolling.
Exactly. Yep. It's going to be a big year.
So I see that, and I've been playing around. We haven't installed it yet, but we certainly want to. What is this thing about? I mean, we have a mission. Let's start with the mission. Bring AI to automatically customize your business. But
Yeah.
how do we do that? Well, we have to do that with a lot of technology. And some of the technology that's coming out right now is pretty amazing. I'm looking at the segment for today, and it's like
Um,
DeepSync V3 is blowing everyone's mind right now, Ray. It's coming out of
yeah.
China. So tell me about it. What is the story behind DeepSync 3? It's so crazy
Yeah.
that people are just, wow, what do we do next? So big change,
So,
big change.
yeah. So the buzzword has been spread in the last 2 weeks about DeepSeek.
Mhm.
Well, the real thing that blow people's mind away is that
Oh, we're losing Ray. We're losing Ray
$5
to
million
internet traffic.
dollars train a large language model with the same capability of GPT-4,
Wow.
like GPT-4o.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So,
We're
and
we're losing your video a little bit, Ray. So if I have to
okay,
stop your video for any, it's just bandwidth issues that are coming across international lines. So we run into this, especially New Year, a lot of traffic, I'm sure. So we're
right.
just going to have to deal
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's to me, it's really interesting that this model is so large for one, and the
Mhm.
fact that it is in just out of nowhere shows up and it beats all the competition except for perhaps maybe one or two segments of particular models like Claude Sonnet in some areas. It's
Yeah.
still very productive on all other areas. So sorry for the
Yeah.
delay there, but let's talk about so the cost efficiency alone. We're paying what, a dollar now for a million tokens versus $70 for a million tokens.
For GPT 4 Turbo. Yeah.
That's
So it's that
1/70th of the price. That's
exactly.
insane.
That's
It's
crazy.
like,
That's
what?
crazy. So yeah, so actually I actually did some research about a team. It's surprisingly, in the AI business in the market in China, there are a lot of, tech giant like
Mhm, mhm.
TikTok, like Tencent
Sure.
and Baidu. They did not build anything good yet.
No.
But the DeepSeek is a team like out of nowhere. They just come out from the thin air. Nobody ever heard of them before. I mean, the
Exactly.
owner is a quant company. You know, quant company, right? They do
Okay.
like quant trading
Sure.
on the stock market. They're
Yep.
not AI company. So,
No.
but they have a lot of NVIDIA chips, GPUs.
Mm.
I believe they have like at least 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs.
Oh my gosh.
And their team members are all PhDs or masters from top tier domestic university from China. None
Really?
of them have any overseas experience, within OpenAI or Cloud or any like other AI companies.
That's crazy.
Literally, it's a secret team. It's like OpenAI, like
Yeah. Yeah. No
two
way.
years
It
ago.
is.
Nobody heard about OpenAI
No.
like before two
Who was Sam
years, right?
Altman? Nobody knew who Sam Altman was.
Yeah,
He
no,
was
no, not so
just
many
a
people knew
nobody.
it. Exactly. So out of nowhere, I mean, they're so cool that they built the large language model with very low cost at 5.5 million versus GPT-4. The cost of do pre-training for GPT-4 is like $100 million.
Mhm.
So 20 times cost efficiency. And also their team they have very entrepreneurial team culture, which means if even if the intern guy fresh from college wants to use some like high high end GPUs
Mhm.
without any approval from the boss. And
Mhm.
what I learned that the owner of the team is also a programmer. So
Oh, okay.
he's very hands-on. The founder code every day. I think that make a big difference. So I mean, the big tech giants spend the of millions of dollars, but got nothing. But the small
Yeah,
team only spend like $6 million and
it's
get
amazing.
surprisingly good large language models. It's
How do
crazy.
you how do you think they were able? I'm just going to ask this out of nowhere, Ray. I mean, we're talking about this is a mixture of experts architecture.
Yeah.
So, you've
Yep.
got all these people with this knowledge base, each
Right.
individual knowledge base pertaining to the product that it announces. So, how are they? I had the question and now I lost it.
Right.
There's just something really interesting about the way this is going about. How do we see, because this is API access primarily only at this time for most of it. Anybody that's really using it and
Mhm.
using it in depth is just accessing the API because there's not really this big huge interface for it. It's just mostly a build. Oh, that was where I was going with that. So you said these guys were more or less in the stock market. And we have to remember AI, especially Aladdin, has been around the stock market exchange for decades. This is not
Yep.
new when it comes to AI in the stock market exchange and things when it comes to manipulating numbers in accounting because that's what it's been doing to manage and monitor and track and do all that stuff for a long time. So these guys probably have an in to that knowledge and have probably been working in that space for quite a while. So I suspect that they've, like you said, they just come out of a closet somewhere and surprise everybody, and it's still blowing my mind. I haven't
All
fully
right.
grasped what I can do with it yet because it's so powerful. It really is.
Yeah, actually, they are also using open source model. They use
Yeah.
Llama 2, it's open source. But what they did is just they kind of mastered the recipe to adjust the weight, the parameters of the
Mhm.
whole algorithm, right? The line of the code is only like I think it's less than 2000 line of code. It's not a lot of
Yeah.
coding there. But what is more is the algorithm. So they did invent a new version of the transformer.
Yes.
So they use multiple latent um, multiple head latent attention
Okay.
algorithms.
Sure.
They're the first one who is capable and be brave enough tra- to change, to modify the transformer model.
Yeah.
Previously, no one dared to touch the model because it's a
That's
black
true.
box, right? If
Yep.
you change any weight, you're gonna get nothing.
It
So,
could very well.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
they're just so, I mean, so adventurous, to be able to change the model, the algo, and eventually even come better results.
Mhm.
But I think the most important thing is where did they get their data from?
Yeah.
I think that nowadays with GPT, OpenAI and Anthropic already, unbox the secret of
Hmm.
AI
Hmm.
with transformer model. But what is the most important piece is the data. I don't think there are a lot of data, good high quality data left in the market.
Hmm.
So what I heard is that they're using synthetic data generated by GPT.
Really?
So that's the benefit that they got. Otherwise, there's not so many high quality data. So they use another technique called um, distillation. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they use a small group of high quality data to train the model versus
Hmm.
previously to do pre-training, you need to use all the data for the
Hmm.
whole internet, accumulated for almost 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But they
And
use high quality data. So data is the most important piece
sure.
in the puzzle. Yeah.
But there's also a lot of outdated data on the internet that's
Yeah.
useless to us anymore nowadays. So there's a lot of filtering
Exactly.
that has to be done, obviously, and that
Yep.
filtering isn't easy. I would say probably, let's just guess. I'm going to guess that probably 40% of the data that's on the internet is useless because a
Yeah.
lot of it is so old and archived or just doesn't pertain to anything that's even available anymore because a lot of it's
Right.
just been put into the let's call it the worldwide waste.
The internet is, oh,
I know it's messing up, Ray. Don't worry about it. There's nothing we can do to control it.
hello.
You're okay. You're still here. You're still here. It's gonna break. We're in the middle of a broadcast and it's gonna break. It happens sometimes. So we're losing Ray's signal over in China, and there's nothing we
Okay.
can really
Oh,
do. There we go.
I'm
It's
back.
coming. It's
I'm back.
coming. You
I'm
just
back.
don't worry. I think it usually saves us. And Ray, if you ever get booted from this broadcast, don't try to do anything because Zoom will bring you back in all on its own. We won't have to
Okay.
touch it. So,
Yep.
yeah, we're just having some experience with some bad traffic today. So let's move ahead as to how this is going to affect us at New Oaks, Ray. I know it's not something that can be immediately even put into the offering because it can be if you wanted
Yeah.
to. You could obviously open source this and build it yourself on the back end. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you see yourself just using the API when necessary and kind of plug it into it?
Yeah, we already got an API
Oh,
from
cool.
DeepSeek. So we're currently testing the model.
Okay.
We need to figure out whether it's stable enough, comparing with either OpenAI or Anthropic's.
Yeah, we're losing Ray's audio. We're getting a bad connection over there. So if I have to, I'm just gonna. You're okay, Ray. Don't worry about it. I'll let you know when we can't hear you. There's really nothing else we can do about that. But just keep talking. Go ahead. Yeah, you got muted somehow. You totally went mute. You didn't accidentally push a button. You're not muted on here. So let me double check. Maybe something broke across. All right, now I hear audio from you. Go ahead.
Okay, okay.
Yep, I got it.
So yeah, in short, we're testing the model. Just want to make sure that commercially is stable and it has all the function call capabilities and also the prompting capabilities. So
Oh, okay. So let's think about what that's going to mean for some of the users. I mean, does this enhance?
for the next step, I think we probably will do fine tune with DeepSeek.
Mhm.
We'll compare. Well,
Here, I'm just going to kill your audio, Ray. Let's turn your video off.
yep.
Just go ahead and turn your video off for now, and we'll leave
Yep.
you as a
Mhm.
square. You'll be okay. Your face is still up there, so we'll
Yep.
still hear your voice, and we'll see if
Yep.
that helps the broadcast a little bit.
Right. So,
There you go.
in short, we just building DeepSeek, and if it works and comparable with Anthropic's cloud or ChatGPT, then the next step is gonna we probably will fine tune our own model
Okay.
in the future.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's the plan. So we have to see how it goes, and the consequence or the impact to the whole market, I think the cost is going to be brought down very soon. I
Sure.
mean, the cost of ChatGPT and also cloud, which
Yeah.
is good for our AI agents or app builders
And
because the end user is going to benefit out of that too. And
oh,
in the
absolutely.
meantime, the competition probably will be fierce because when the cost goes down, a lot of startups are going to join this game
Sure.
to yeah to get.
One thing I want to warn everybody about though, and this is notified on their website at the API usage level where they will be changing pricing. This is introductory pricing for the model. So this pricing is going to change relatively soon, which is February 8th. They do have the
Okay.
numbers posted, so you can check the details in the big blue box up here at the top of the screen on the API tabs page. You will see the model pricing that states it's crossed out for the 7 cents per million tokens, and at current price it's 0.014 cents per million. That's literally a penny and a half per million tokens per
Yep.
input, and a penny and a half per million tokens in the cash, and the output is 0.28 or 28 cents per million tokens, which will go up to $1.10 US come February 18th. So we don't want to make
Uh,
people believe that this is a
yep.
permanent price because it's
Right.
not, but it will still be highly competitive in pricing. So we're not losing anything here in the total aspect of things when we really look forward. It's just currently it's an amazing offer by DeepSeek to get in. So if you want to train your bots right now, get in and start training your bots and get all the data off of this thing you possibly can, or use it to its greatest extent while it's available at this price, because this would be the best time to do so. All right, Ray, what about
Yeah.
us? A lot going on at New Oaks. We've talked about everybody else. Let's talk about New Oaks. What have you built over there recently? We can try your video again if you'd like to see if you're
Yeah.
coming back in,
Yeah.
and we'll
Sure.
go from there. There we
Okay.
go. Ray's back. So let's talk.
Yeah, I'm back. So for New Oaks, I think first of all, for this for 2025,
Hmm.
this year our goal is to build voice first, and eventually we're gonna build AI employees to
Gotcha.
use AI to
Hmm.
automate everything of the sales funnel. So that's the goal, objective of this year. When it's coming to this month, for the past week, we released a lot of new features and fix some bugs.
Sure did.
Yeah, and then we our number one priority is to make our voice AI better. I mean, in terms of quality wise, make it better. And secondly, we are going to go deep integration with Go High Level so that most of our agency owners can benefit out of that
Sure.
integration. Yeah.
Why not? That's the best way to do it. So, what has been the latest achievement? I mean, I've been kind of playing around. I managed to get all the APIs connected using a little tool called cribops.com, which I've been using. A friend of mine, Jim Hankins, put together at Cloud Bedrock, a product for people that are doing home labs and want to connect interfaces. And I wanted to see how his webhook worked with your system. So, we're piping messages through CribOps to get to our CRMs or whatever it is that we're using. What it allows us to do, Ray, is push out routing, pre-routing basically, before we get to where we want to go by sending, rather than webhook directly to the interface, we're sending it to a queue. And that way, if the other end ever fails or something goes down, we have a queue holding all of the data that then goes in when it's back online so that we never lose those connections. And that's something I'm going to be broadcasting a lot in the future. But for what we're doing here, Ray, how can we see, like, the voice that I've been using is very, very, I'm just loving this voice to voice. This is kind of, it's
Yeah.
really cool. That's all I can say. But you're looking at some improvements to that. So, what are the real improvements that are going to take place on voice?
Yeah, so we did some improvement, and for example, we removed the repeating part of the conversations. For example, previously in the voice, the AI will repeat it himself, right, or herself during the conversation. Say, "Hey, this is Sarah. I'm your AI assistant." So we did that better version of that, and also for email and phone number recognition, we also improved a lot so that it can pick up the right alphabet and do a confirmation for appointment booking or lead collection. And then we also make sure that confirmation text message will be sent after, just to make sure when the voice AI make a book appointments or collect emails, yeah, everything is correct.
Okay,
Yeah. So
perfect.
those are the improvement we have been doing. We will be keep working on that to get a
So,
better quality.
so can
Yeah.
you define a little bit more on how the URLs for images and, email, SMS during
Right.
calls is going to
So
be operating? I'm kind of just cloudy as to how that whole process works. So
yes,
define
yes,
how
good
that goes.
question. Right. So for example, if you are a real estate agent when someone is calling your AI voice bot to ask about the properties, and if the caller say, "Hey, Leland, can you send me some images or pictures about your estate?" And the bot is gonna send the link of the property images or pictures on by email or by text message,
Hmm.
right? So that it's become multi-module conversation in some way.
I like it. So
Yep.
we could be sitting there conversing and say, hey, I need that form. Can you send that form over me to fill out real quick? The form will be sent to an SMS
Yep.
or to an email. We can fill out the form while we're still talking with the bot. and kind
Exactly.
of converse through it. Can it help us through the form too, Ray? Is that something like, or doesn't that necessarily pertain? I'm trying to figure out ways, like if I'm in the middle of a form and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to put here? Can the bot
Mhm.
literally respond and say, well, honestly, that in that cell, you should, you know, put this data. Maybe it's not just an email address. Maybe it's informational and it's something that you're
Right,
not sure what you're going to
right.
put in. So you'll be able to ask the
Yeah, yeah,
bot,
you can ask. You can ask. I mean,
okay, what am I
directly
supposed
in
to
the
put here?
box.
That's really cool. I'm liking
Yeah.
that a lot. So, what's to be released this week, Ray? I got some new upcoming features about batch calling, the GHL lead template for API v2, along with a rebilling feature for agency owners using the NewOaks API.
Yes. So we are building the batch calling for AI phone call for outbound calls.
Oh, okay.
Previous last week we released that if you enter a number and write a voice AI prompt, so that you can allow the chatbot to call to dial the the phone call directly on the
Gotcha.
dashboard.
Yeah.
But some agency owners want to do some like propel calling, like upload a batch of numbers with a CSV file
Oh,
so
okay.
that the bot can call those numbers in batch versus you need to, call the numbers one by one.
Yeah.
So that's the batch calling
But
upload
of course,
feature.
you have to have opt-in and send status for that. You're not
Exactly.
just you can't just cold call people with an AI. That's against the law. So
Yeah.
at least here in the U.S., we don't know what the laws are in other countries at this time. But when it comes to U.S. and many of the European countries as well, especially under GDPR, you're going to be dealing with none of that cold calling with an AI. Because if you do, they're going to come after you right away, and you're going to be fined heavy fines for trying to do so. So keep that in mind. The GHL
Right.
lead template. I find it interesting that we're so dug into GHL. We just worked all night last night on a proposal for a product that we're looking to incorporate into GHL as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is the, I guess it's a huge ecosystem. It really is.
Yeah.
Do you know how many users they have over at GHL? Any idea?
Probably 90,000
It's
users in their
somewhere in
community.
there. Yeah, I think it's almost
Yeah.
100,000 users now. And so anything that people develop for GHL tends to go places if it's good. So
Yeah.
Ray's on the right track by providing those connecting points for New Oaks to be able to replace or add value to what GHL already provides. So, it's not no sense replacing what they have unless it's better. But
Right.
Ray, tell us how we're working out with GHL.
Yeah, so we did build a private app within GHL's marketplace so that within NewOaks, you can authorize NewOaks to access your GHL account. And then after authorization, um, you can create a lead capture chatbot.
Yeah.
So, and customize it. For example, if you're a dentistry, right? If you're a dentistry and you want to collect the patient's information, you can then ask the questions about patient's name, email, phone number, the tooth conditions, and credit scores, whether it has home. And then after the pre-screening questions, and then the data will be automatically saved into your GHL contacts and opportunities.
Gotcha.
So it's like one click. You do not need, you just need to set up the objective of the lead template and you're done.
Nice.
You do
Nice.
not to do any setup on the GHL side because
Nice.
it's all native API integration from go high level API v2.
Well, I know
So
a couple people that are going to really love that because I have a lot of friends that use GHL, and it's one of those things that I have my own stats that I've built over the years, but for people that use GHL, this is going to be a huge step forward. And I'm not trying to knock GHL's team at all. They've done a tremendous job of building a system over there for people to own and run agencies with. It really comes down to it's over time things get compiled and big and expansive and huge and sometimes things get combobulated. So in this case, Ray's just offering another service to GHL owners who are maybe not quite happy with what they have, or they're not getting some of the value features that they would like to have out of GHL, and Ray's providing those. So we hope those users get a good look at what Ray's put together. And then the rebilling feature, Ray, tell us a little bit about that for us agency owners. I'd really like to know more about that.
Yeah, so the rebuilding is from the recent experience that I have with some of our agency customers. So
Okay,
they're using their own key, right? BYOK feature. But a
sure,
lot of times the OpenAI account has tiers. For example, if you just start to use OpenAI's API key, your
hmm,
tier one account, they're gonna have rate limit on your voice
true.
model. Yeah, so that your voice bot is gonna be slow, responded, and sometimes no response and limited. There's a lot of limitations. The idea is that the agency owner can use NewOaks AI's API key and also do a markup on top of that and to
Gotcha.
recharge to their own customers so that they do not need to worry about the costs anymore.
I like it.
It's another feature that we want to build to make agencies' life easier.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing because as agency owner myself, it's difficult at times when, and this happens in any type of SaaS business where you're relying on a third party foundation to be your service provider, which we deal with all the time in this business as SaaS. That's what it's about. It's about solutions as a service, software as a service, doesn't matter. It's all about we tend to collab a lot as units. You know, people out in this space are always like, "Hey, you got something I could use? Can I plug it into mine, or can you plug this into yours, or whatever?" And we do this all the time. And what we find is over that period, we might change ideas or change thoughts on how something should be processed. And in this case, that's a realization that comes up that, whoa, this isn't working as well as it should. So let's change it to another format. And I see this happening in the growth of AI and the growth of the new Web3, let's call it, because websites are kind of going away in a general sense. People don't want to browse them anymore. People just want the information that's in them. So look at it that way. How can we extract the information from the internet and use it to the best of our ability? That's what AI is allowing us to do. So, Ray, bring us home for 2025. Tell us what we're looking forward to in the next year, and we'll just wrap it up and call it a day because we got a couple minutes left. And we are going to be changing up the format a little bit as we move ahead into 2025 because we want that to be an evolution on New Oaks as well. Ray and I have to talk about days and times yet. There's some stuff that's coming up with scheduling. Everything's getting busy in the world. So we're going to see. We don't know if we're going to have to move the day and time. I would like to look at Wednesdays, Ray, if that's a possibility. I know Ray's not too happy with that one. So we're going to ask the community. I want to know from all of you guys too, what's a good day or time during the week that works best for you guys for us to come out and broadcast? Because we could just as well record this ourselves and then put it up so that you guys can watch it. We don't get a lot of interaction. We're going to touch on that in just a second. Hilton and Crib Ops are here. So Jim Hankins is in the house watching the video. Thanks for stopping by, Jim. Along with Hilton Davidow. Oh, we didn't have, I thought we had another one. It's just Hilton today. So we
Yeah.
need engagement at New Oaks. And if we're going to get that, it's going to be from the community at the time they're available. So if you guys want to make it something that we can all participate in and have conversations along the side while we're discussing these things, let us know what works best. Ray and I will accommodate as much as possible. Obviously, we're 12 hours apart on both sides of the world, so we need to do something that works for both of us. Let's see what we can come up with for 2025, right? We'll work it out. But I've just
Yeah.
got some things that are starting to pop up at 10 a.m. on Tuesday that I'd really like to be a part of, and I can't be with the podcast. So we always have to accommodate for each of us as we move ahead, and hopefully that won't be an issue. So, Ray, take us home. What do we got for 2025?
Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you. So yeah, so we are going to build AI, I mean voice first. That's the number one priority. By the end of 2025, I hope every one of our customers, business owner customer, agency customers able to use their AI employee with only demand or request from the business owners. The AI employee is going to build the whole process automatically and deliver the result. So that's the goal for NewOaks AI in 2025 to make business owner and agencies life easier.
I can't imagine. It's looking good, Ray. That's all I can say. And I'm really hopeful that 2025 is a success for everybody that's a part of New Oaks AI. So that's all we
Yeah.
got for you today. Visit us next week, hopefully just like before. Right now it's Tuesday, 10 a.m. Stop by on an Eastern time zone. Other than that, if we have an announcement of a new time and day, we will give you that as soon as possible. And there will be a lot of those so that you know where to find us next. Ray, take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next
Okay.
broadcast.
See you next week. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.